One of the greatest rivalries in NCAA basketball resumes this afternoon as the Hope Flying Dutchmen take on the Calvin Knights at the Van Noord Arena in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Classic games, outstanding student athletes, and intense crowds are just some of the elements that make this historical rivalry one of the best. Hope has a one-game lead in the battle for the league crown. Calvin can make a disappointing season sweeter by knocking off their rivals. Live from the Van Noord Arena, it's the Hope Flying Dutchmen versus the Calvin Knights.
Today's game is underwritten in part by the Community Foundation of the Holland-Zeeland area, creating lasting positive change in our community. Cunningham Dolman PC, accessible, responsive, effective. Eastern Floral, a West Michigan tradition for over 60 years. Freedom Village, an elegant retirement lifestyle. Gentex Corporation, a smarter vision.
Well, at the start of the day today, Calvin fans probably thought they'd do well if they could get a single victory. They've already got one, Brent Ashcroft. Now they try for an unlikely doubleheader sweep here in Game 2 of our men's and women's doubleheader between Calvin and Hope. I'm Tom Cleary. Glad to have you with us for our second contest here on WGVU TV. And certainly the atmosphere is what you'd hope for on Senior Day if you were looking to stage a big upset.
No question about it, Tom. And this is obviously kind of an uncharted situation for Calvin. Never in the history of the MIAA tournament, which of course tips off next week, have the Calvin Knights not been a participant in it. And that tournament's been around for a quarter of a century. Calvin has to win this basketball game today, Tom, and they also need Albion to beat Trine. And if those two situations play out, then there will be a game here next Wednesday night between Calvin and Trine as a play-in game to the MIAA tournament. But it's easier said than done against a Hope basketball team that's 22-2, and they are riding the crest of it right now, no question.
Calvin might have the mojo in its favor. They won the women's game 88-77, knocking off Hope, which had won 24 consecutive games. Let's talk about the principal players. Ben Gardner's been great this year. He's had more of a scoring role as well, and he's been outstanding in his senior year for Hope.
Yeah, they've really gotten some great scoring lately, and they've gotten better. I think the most impressive stat that I've seen from Hope leading into this game was its second half on Wednesday night against Kalamazoo. I mean, this team put up 66 points in the second half alone against Kalamazoo. So this team can score. It can score in bunches, and Calvin's going to have its hands full here today defensively, no question.
Calvin's got two important seniors playing for the last time on this court. The point guard Austin Parks and Jordan Daly, who's been a big scorer, had a very fine game the first time around. He'll have to shoulder a similar size load here today.
Well, I think he's certainly going to get his, and Hope probably is going to, play him defensively well, but let's be honest, he can't beat Hope by himself. He's going to need some help. Guys like Austin Parks, Tony Cannoni, Cameron Denny, and Michael Wilkes are going to have to step up and try to score the basketball here today and take some pressure off of Daly, so it's not all on him.
Still a couple of minutes away from the tip-off here in Game 2. We'll take a quick break and return to Calvin after this.
At the Community Foundation, we build our community's endowment to ensure that the Holland-Zeeland area always has the resources necessary to respond to future needs and opportunities. Join us to make a difference today, tomorrow, and forever.
At Hope, it's about challenging your mind. Hope. Learn it, love it, live it.
With 4 seconds left in this contest, down by 3.
Fellas, that's a great effort to get back where we are. Now, looks like we got 4 seconds. We got to have a 3. It can't be a 2. We're down 3. And here's what we're going to do. Judge, you're going to make this and we'll win the game in overtime.
Support for WGVU Public Media is provided by Macatawa Bank. We make decisions here because your business is here. More information is available at macatawabank.com.
Welcome back to Calvin versus Hope. I'm Ryan Terpstra. A couple of quick keys for this game for Calvin. They need to identify who can score outside of Jordan Daly. For Hope, they just need to hold things together. They're the favorite in this one, but they're in enemy territory. Things are about to get loud. Let's head to Tom Cleary for more.
Thank you very much, Ryan. And the fans are getting excited for this one on both sides. Hope's got a contingent here as well. Hope and Calvin, final game of the regular season. One last chance maybe for Calvin to get into the postseason MIAA tournament. Right now, let's send it down to the floor for the public address announcer, Dan Spolstra.
Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to please rise or remain standing. Gentlemen, please remove your caps. Presenting the colors today is the Western Michigan University and Calvin College ROTC. And now to honor America and those who protect our freedom at home and abroad, please welcome United, Calvin Men's A Cappella Ensemble, who will perform our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Thank you, United. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Van Noord Arena here on the campus of Calvin College for the rivalry. Today's game is the 193rd meeting between our visitors, the Flying Dutchmen from Hope College, and your Calvin College Knights. Let's meet today's starting lineups. First for Hope, starting at forward, he's a 6'6" junior from Canton, Ohio, number 20, Harrison Blackledge. Starting at forward for the Knights, he's a 6'7" junior from Bluffton, Indiana, number 22, Cam Denny. At center for Hope College, 6'8" senior from Willowbrook, Illinois, number 40, Brock Benson. And for the Knights, 6'5" sophomore from Hudsonville, number 32, Michael Wilkes. For Hope College, starting at guard, 5'10" sophomore from Holland, number 3, Dante Hawkins. At guard for the Knights, he's a senior, playing today in his final regular season home game, the 6-footer from Niles, number 10, Austin Parks. For Hope College, starting at guard, 5'7" junior from Rockford, number 11, Chad Carlson. At guard for the night, 6'2" sophomore from South Haven, number 20, Tony Canoni. And for the Flying Dutchman, starting at guard, 6' senior from Carmel, Indiana, number 31, Ben Gardner. And for your night, starting at the other guard, 6'3" senior, also playing today in his final regular season home game, out of Grand Rapids Christian, number 34, Jordan Daly. Head coach for Hope College is Greg Mitchell, and the head coach for the Knights is Kevin Vandestreet.
Well, we talk about Calvin needing a bit of a miracle here, Brent Ashcroft, to get into the postseason tournament, but they wouldn't even be that close if it hadn't been for a spirited second half comeback on Wednesday. I was here to see them play Adrian. They looked like they were almost left for dead by the side of the road. Somehow they were able to coax their way back into the ball game, and then in the final moments it was Michael Wilkes, the unlikely hero, hitting 4 free throws down the stretch in the closing seconds to give Calvin a narrow victory that knocked Adrian out of the postseason playoff picture.
Let's hope that they can play off of that second half here today. They're going to need it. The margin of error for Calvin is absolutely down to 0, and their destiny is not in their own hands. They got to take care of business here today, but they also need some help from their buddies at Albion later today.
Well, it is Hope on the first possession of the contest here. It's Carlson against Parks. Here's Gardner looking inside to Brock Benson. Denny puts a body on him. Here's Dante Hawkins on the bounce, young guy who's gone into the starting lineup. Harrison Blackledge moving on Wilkes. Wilkes bumped him and draws the foul from Greg Van Dyken, who's working today's game with Randy Hutton, and the guy that walks into our frame right now, Kevin Quaker, longtime West Michigan official. And here is the foul called. I think Wilkes would probably wish he had given a little bit of space there to Harrison Blackledge. And the junior from Canton, Ohio, can't get the first one down. Last year, Calvin beat Hope 3 times. They had played once this year, and even though Hope was basically considered a big favorite in that first game, Calvin played them pretty tough. They led for good portions of the contest.
And I believe they had a halftime lead in that game too. And that was 3 weeks ago.
I don't think Calvin's afraid, but do they have enough big people to compete up front? Here is Denny. Daly against Gardner. Calvin likes this, certainly, and that's why. Jordan Daly gets his first bucket of the ball game. If they can get him down deep against Gardner, Brent, he'll be able to take advantage.
Well, you know the offense is going to be running through Daly here, especially early. And Kevin Vandestreet loves to dictate tempo in a basketball game, and he's certainly already shown that first possession.
Benson, if he moves that foot, it's a travel. Instead, it's a missed shot and a Calvin rebound to Austin Parks. Here's Tony Canoni from South Haven. The off guard for Calvin. Wilkes, Daly, and Cameron Denny, a long-range shooter who's out there, and looking to go is Daly, and he is fouled on the curl, and it was, I believe, Dante Hawkins who reached in and got him.
2 possessions here, Tom. Calvin not afraid to take it inside, and they're going right in there, going for the high percentage baskets.
Jordan Daly did not have a big ball game midweek. Kind of got going a little bit toward the end, but Adrian, with a different personnel look, kind of a shorter, faster squad, really kept him bottled up. But right now, he's helped his team to an early 4-0 lead. So Hawkins now out there with Carlson and Gardner. That is a small 3-guard rotation. A lot of quickness. Hawkins to Carlson for 3. Can't find it, and it's going to be a second foul call against Michael Wilkes, who's going to have to come out of the ball game. And I think it was a clever move that time by Blackledge, who kind of got locked up with him and then just took a tumble. Let's see what happens here. That's a pretty good fight there, and really Blackledge got that call because he was the first guy to hit the deck.
Exactly. But Wilkes with 2 here, Tom. That's significant. That's a guy with size Calvin needed out there to be able to to defend and rebound and obviously score as well. And now he's on the bench.
And that's Blackledge, who hits right over the top of his replacement, Mike Siegel. Blackledge gets the score. And it's 4-2. Parks nearly tied up by Denny. He's going to get a 5-second call. You know, you could say the point guard has got to get rid of the ball there, and you'd be correct in that, but you don't want to just throw it out in the middle of the court backwards, because you could have a jailbreak then. So I think Parks realized at some point it was probably going to be a turnover. We'll just take it and back up. Gardner, Blackledge, Carlson, Hawkins. I don't think Hawkins is looking to launch from distance. Benson on the high post. Siegel's got a flash. Well, Hawkins does take a long shot. That's saved inbounds by Parks, controlled by Cannoni. And the Calvin point guard has got a couple of defensive rebounds here in the first 2.5 minutes. Here is Denny, who likes to shoot from distance. Well, we had Daly, but he didn't deliver it to him. He just kind of bounced it, and it was too soft. Benson picked it off. Switch here. Benson trying to go on Cannoni. Cannoni's got good strength. He holds his position well. Gardner for three. That was touched, maybe. Controlled by Daly.
Well, right now, Calvin, Tom, holding hope to one and done. If they can just turn some of these rebounds into scores at the other end, this will certainly help their cause.
Denny can hit that shot, and does. Calvin getting some offense here in the early going, leading it 7-2 and defending well. They've lost Wilkes with a couple of fouls for probably the remainder of the first half. That's a nicer move by Benson, who goes inside, and Denny felt like he was left out to dry there by his defenders. Let's take a look at the last shot by Denny. There's the three. At the other end, I don't think it was Denny's fault. He tries to get up over the top of Benson, and then they released him on the backside. So Brock Benson with a chance to complete a three-point play, and he is able to do so. Calvin's got Siegel in there, and they've also hurried Nate Drews into the game. He's a shooter and a scorer. A little bit more of a threat than Cannoni. Parks flying and scoring. Austin Parks with his first bucket of the ball game. Did not have a basket in the first 39 minutes, Brent, against Adrian. And then with his team trailing, stepped up and hit a three for his only goal of the game. That kind of keyed a little bit of a run, and that's going to be a travel, they say, Kevin Quaker. Mike Siegel went for the flick, and Greg Mitchell didn't like that. He looked a bit egregious from our standpoint as well.
Wilkes on the bench with 2 fouls, like you said, probably not playing for the rest of the half. Parks is going to have to be a guy here who's going to have to look for his own shot a few trips down the court, no question.
Here's Mike Siegel, had a good look and fills it. He was on the line. It's a 2-pointer. Siegel lulled him to sleep a little bit there to make it 11-5, Calvin. Here's Garner trying to go on Daly. Carlson. Blackledge very lucky to get that one back. He got tangled up with Siegel. Looking to go again. He stepped in hard and scores. Nice work. Very nice work done by Harrison Blackledge.
Yeah, that was great low post basketball right there. 3 guys on him, and he managed to fight that up and in.
Denny. Benson will chase him out. This guy's a 3-point shooter. Calvin's going to make another change here shortly. They'll get Nick Kronmeyer into the game. Here's Parks. Shot clock running down. Calvin's going to have to go quickly. Denny falls away. That's going to be a shot clock violation unless they get it on the rim. Oh, they do, and Drew scores it. Didn't think he had time to do that, Brent.
Looked like the ball might have grazed the rim a little bit. I saw the shot clock reset.
Okay. In that case, then why did Drew shoot so quickly? Blackledge again, forces not there. Benson very nearly over the top. Carlson for 3. And this rebound belongs to Siegel, and Ben Gardner reached in on him. And that'll take us to our first media timeout. It's a good start for Calvin. 13, Hope 7 here on WGVU.
Cunningham Dahlman PC, attorneys at law, proud sponsor of Hope vs. Calvin basketball on WGVU TV. Cunningham Dahlman PC, accessible, responsive, effective. More information at holland-law.com.
By recycling paper, plastics, metals, and more, Padness is making the world we live in a better one. Padness, recycling the world over and over.
Holland Hospital Sports Medicine provides non-surgical and surgical care for team athletes and weekend warriors alike. Their team approach offers comprehensive diagnosis, expert treatment, and personalized rehabilitation for sports-related injuries. For more information, hollandhospital.org/sportsmed.
Win a 7-day trip for two to London, England, complete with a tour of Highclere Castle, setting for PBS's popular series Downton Abbey. Or a 2-day stay at the historic West Baden Springs Hotel in French Lick, Indiana. Or a 2-day stay at the Amway Grand Plaza Hotel in Grand Rapids. Get your tickets today to support WGVU Public Media, and you could win the grand prize trip for two to London or any one of our other prizes at the WGVU Travel Raffle. Just go to WGVUTravelRaffle.com.
Well, Calvin would like to get some offense from the outside, Brent Ashcroft, to open things up inside. Here's Cam Denny, their big man who can't shoot from out there. And we see Blackledge going inside, and that's important for them because they have not been able to ring the bell from the line just yet.
No, they have not. Hope uncharacteristically for a shooting team. Great guard play. They are just 3 of 9 from the floor right now. 0 for 4 from deep.
Hope has brought Alex Edson into the game. At one point in his career, he was the primary scoring option for Hope. He's fallen off a little bit in the rotation, but I think it's a good move by Greg Mitchell to get a senior in there because this game means a lot to him. He wants to do well his last go-around against Calvin. Calvin's made some substitutes. Michael Welch is in there, nearly lost it, and now he gets tied up, and there's all sorts of people down on the deck there. This is going to be Calvin basketball, I believe. Cannoni will come in for Parks now. Calvin's got Kronmeyer in there. It's a little bit of a makeshift crew right now. The guy that you would expect to be the shooting option here is Drews, 24. He's a guy that can shoot from outside like that. Had a good look at it off the curl, couldn't get it down. So Calvin's got Denny out, Parks out, and also Daly. And that's a reach in and a foul against Kronmeyer. On Edson, common foul. Calvin has now picked up 4 fouls, 2 of those against Wilkes, who had to go out after about the first 2 minutes. Just 2 for Hope. Carlson, Edson, Kronmeyer's on Edson. Also in there right now is Sam Otto in 30, and he's got the ball right now. Benson. Good work being done by Siegel against Blackledge. Now the switch off. That's good work defensively on the interior by Calvin. Drews able to corral that miss.
Well, we talked about in the pregame, Tom. Calvin is going to have to play great defense today to have a shot against Hope, and so far they are playing exceptional defense in this basketball game.
I don't think I've ever seen this before. Brock Benson actually blocked a shot on a play where he took a charge. I think the referee might have anticipated that one just a touch. We didn't get the perfect look at it, but it is a foul that goes against Welch. Cannoni now on Carlson. Benson, that is a walk. So saith Kevin Quaker and about 3,000 or 4,000 other people here in the arena today.
Yeah, you saw him stutter step it there. And Hope making some unforced errors here, Tom. Some turnovers. Calvin can cash in at the other end.
Well, this is the problem Calvin has. They don't have a natural point guard besides Parks in their immediate rotation. Cannoni turned it over there. Here's Edson. Edson, a nice look inside to Benson, who scores. A lot of credit to Alex Edson there. Waited till his guy got position. Benson now with 5 in the contest. It's a 4-point Calvin lead.
Yeah, that play set up nicely. Benson kept his feet moving the entire time and got the right angle to the basket.
Exactly. Gardner's going to come back in along with Parks. Siegel thought about it. Siegel, nice kick out. Drews can knock this ball down, but he left that one short. Chased it down a la Larry Bird and very nearly converted. He just pulled the string on it a little bit. Well, the shooter knows when it's going to be short. Edson, good look here, and it's 3.
Well, you mentioned how important it is to have him out there. You know, he certainly wants to play well in his final game against Calvin as a senior. And that may open things up from the perimeter now for Hope, because they have not been able to hit from outside and do much in terms of the shooting game yet tonight.
Calvin would like to see a ball get knocked out of bounds here to get a television timeout. It's Siegel going to fly. No. Good block out by Sam Otto against his opposite number, Michael Welch from Calvin. And now Otto at the other end. Not quite. Benson tipped that ball back, avoided the foul. Hope looking to take the lead here. Edson. Here's Blackledge. Edson's going to let it go again. Not this time. Calvin on the run. Who's going to take the shot for Calvin? It's going to be Siegel. And early in the clock, I'm not sure that was the best option. Blackledge wide left. That's controlled by Cannoni. Being chased by Carlson all the way down the floor. Drews, that is a shot he can hit.
Stop and pop 3, Tom.
That's a ball that Calvin needed to go down. They had lost their way a little bit. And here comes Hope now with Carlson. Benson on Welch. That's too easy if you're Calvin. Nice work by Brock Benson, who's off to a good start, and that brings us to a TV timeout. We're going to keep it here right now. Calvin called a 30, I think. This would normally be the television timeout, but we got underneath the 12-minute mark. Let's go back and take a look at what we just saw a couple of moments ago. This guy has got an uncanny ability. Drew's quick release. And what I like about that kid and the way he shoots the ball, Brent, he gets something underneath it. He doesn't line drive the ball in. Here's Edson with a 3 earlier in the contest. Be a big lift for Hope if they can get him back to anywhere near the kind of productivity he's had at times during this series in his career.
Yeah, getting back to Drew's, boy, he got the ball squared right up 29 feet and buried it. That ended a 4.5-minute drought by Calvin. They hadn't scored in 4.5 minutes until that 3 went down. So like you said, that was an important basket. And now you could expect to see Jordan Daly probably enter back into the lineup here out of this timeout.
No, it doesn't. Only in the second half.
Hope has found its way a little bit here shooting the basketball, Tom, but they're still just 6 of 16 in the game. 37%. They're going to need to get better than that for sure.
How about this? Michael Wilkes comes back in with 2 fouls and still 10 minutes to go in the first half. And I think that this has been kind of a recurring theme for us here today. There's been a little bit of confusion on what constitutes a media timeout. That wasn't supposed to be one. That was, however, the longest 30 in recorded basketball history. Nobody was quite sure what was happening there. Cam Denny on the bounce. Daly looks to go on Sam Otto. Daly lost it, got it back, but was stripped by Edson. Great team defense here by Hope. Otto recovered enough to bother the first shot, and then Edson came in and helped out. Here's Otto, thought about a 3, might have gotten away with a walk. He's going to get away with a 3 this time, and he's going to fill it. Sam Otto puts Hope on top at 17-16.
Well, here you go. Flying Dutchman can get that outside shot going. Things could get awfully messy here for Calvin.
Denny for 3. The problem with Denny isn't that he can't make threes. He can, but when he misses, Calvin's biggest player is out to sea, and somehow Hope missed 2 layups there, and Calvin gets it back. This is where Denny has to get to the hole, does, and try to come up on the other side and got blocked. Hope's got numbers. Dante Hawkins pushed off a little bit. Boy, that's a tough foul against Cannoni. That does take us to our immediate timeout. We'll take a break right now with Hope on top. It's 17-16 here today on WGVU.
Cunningham Dahlman PC, attorneys at law, proud sponsor of Hope vs. Calvin basketball on WGVU TV. Cunningham Dahlman PC, accessible, responsive, effective. More information at holland-law.com.
By recycling paper, plastics, metals, and more, Padness is making the world we live in a better one. Padness, recycling the world over and over.
Holland Hospital Sports Medicine provides non-surgical and surgical care for team athletes and weekend warriors alike. Their team approach offers comprehensive diagnosis, expert treatment, and personalized rehabilitation for sports-related injuries. For more information, hollandhospital.org/sportsmed.
Win a 7-day trip for 2 to London, England, complete with a tour of Highclere Castle, setting for PBS's popular series Downton Abbey. Or a 2-day stay at the historic West Baden Springs Hotel in French Lick, Indiana. Or a 2-day stay at the Amway Grand Plaza Hotel in Grand Rapids. Get your tickets today to support WGVU Public Media, and you could win the grand prize trip for 2 to London, or any one of our other prizes at the WGVU Travel Raffle. Just go to WGVUTravelRaffle.com.
Sam Otto came back. Sam did a nice thing there. He had a look at a three, decided it wasn't perfect, then he stepped right into that one with nobody on him, and he knocked it down.
Well, basketball's a game of runs, Tom. I know it's cliche to say, but it's the truth. Calvin started this game red hot, and Hope was a little cold, and now the roles have reversed here a little bit. Hope is finding some range, hitting some threes. Edson kind of got that going, and Calvin has only got 1 field goal scored here in the last 6 minutes of this basketball game.
Dante Hawkins gets the free throw down, his first score of the contest. And for Calvin, Drews is back in, and Cannoni, who committed that last foul, goes out. Well, Hope has had a history of left-handers recently, haven't they? Edson, Gardner, and now this young guy, all southpaws, which makes it a little bit difficult to guard. 3-point Hope lead. Hawkins with 2 free throws. Here's Denny against Blackledge. Calvin's got to keep the feet moving on offense. Parks looking to go. Wilkes. Parks got rid of his man. Floats from 10. Too hard. Daly back up and in.
Well, that was just a wonderful play all around there by Jordan Daly, Tom. He was in the right place, right time to get that rebound, and he just immediately went up strong with it. Didn't think, didn't put the ball on the floor, just went right up and scored it, and that's what you need to do.
Parks just caught enough of that rim to give Daly a chance at that ball. I think the clock was running down. Cannoni comes in now for Parks. Jordan Daly is off to a very good start here in this contest against the Flying Dutch. 19-18, Hope by 1. Gardner got through. That's easy. Beautiful roll there by Gardner, and good recognition. Usually a little guy turns away from the plate. He might think that he's going to run into a wall, but Gardner just kept right on going, and there was nobody home guarding the shop. Hope is going to make a change here. Cody Stivey, a guy who's given Calvin some trouble in the games in the last couple of years. He's a lanky fella, can shoot it from the outside.
Remember his days at Hudsonville.
And another lefty out there as well. Denny got hit needlessly by Blackledge. Common foul. Only number 4 against Hope here in the first half, with 8:12 showing on the game clock. Cruz is not really a handler. Cannoni is more of an off guard as well. Here's Daly, going to send it from distance. Airballed it. Drews saved that. Inbounds. Denny's got it back against Blackledge. Denny looking to go, trying to finish at the rim. Oh! Would have been a circus shot had that gone. Guess it was a circus shot. It just didn't go in, but Cam Denny will shoot two. And that takes us to our next media timeout. So we'll take a break here, come back and shoot some free throws when we return.
With 4 seconds left in this contest, down by 3.
Fellas, that's a great effort to get back where we are. Now, looks like we got 4 seconds. We got to have a 3. It can't be a 2. We're down 3. And here's what we're going to do. Jed, you're going to make this and we'll win the game in overtime.
Support for WGVU Public Media is provided by Macatawa Bank. We make decisions here because your business is here. More information is available at macatawabank.com.
At Hope, it's more than just a game. Hope. We live for this.
We're pleased to have help from WZZM TV. And they have provided us again with use of their live truck for our broadcast here today. And I should also point out that they have granted Brent Ashcroft a reprieve. He's available on the work release program that he's currently under. Only on weekends, right?
I'm on loan. Yes, yes.
One out of two for Denny. And Kelvin back to within a point again. And Gardner has it rejected this time by Denny. But unfortunately for the Knights, Jordan Daly couldn't retrieve that one without going out of bounds. Let's see here. Oh, Daly should have just saved this ball back in. He tries to control it, and then he crossed over with his feet. You saw it wasn't the first foot down that got him, Brent. It was the second.
Yeah, it was.
Here's the lob into Benson, and now Edson's back on. Hawkins. Boy, Denny is banging there. Cannoni trying to go on Gardner. Stayed with them, but Gardner turned him and leaned inside to score.
Well, Hope needs to get Gardner going here, Tom. He'd only had 2 points in the game up until that basket. Maybe that'll ignite the fire under him here a little bit.
That's a throwaway there as Drews went for Siegel. Siegel stopped his cut. Daly comes out. And Kronmeyer back in there. So right now, Calvin has to be careful here because they're trying to get some rest for their primary guys, but they don't really have an offensive go-to guy out there unless it's Denny. Hope has got Benson on the floor with Gardner, Hawkins, Stivey. Loose ball here, and Calvin looking to go 3-on-1. This will be Siegel inside. Made that harder than it had to be. Great defending by Stivey. Calvin got two guys too close together there. And we will get Michael Welch back in for Calvin shortly. Here's Gardner. That's a freebie for Ben. Not this time. Cannoni a rebound. And now Kronmeyer. Denny got by Benson this time. Slides and scores.
Well, you mentioned Denny being the scoring option out there with this particular rotation on the floor, Tom, and He certainly is not afraid today to take it to the rack. He's been doing it several times, and up and strong, and one.
Yeah, that was very nice by Denny. He did his best to avoid the charge, kind of slid his body between two defenders, and he surprised Benson, who bumped him from behind, and Denny gets the three-point play. So 7 for Cameron Denny, who comes out. Michael Welch is in. And if you think that Calvin didn't have a real offensive unit out there before, they certainly do not now. Hawkins, Stivey, Gardner against Kronmeyer. Carlson with Cannoni. Here's Benson. That's a nice reach in by Drews. Drews then, actually it was Kronmeyer who made the steal. He got it to Drews. Nice work done there by Nick Kronmeyer. Cannoni. Siegel. Hard to the hoop. Not the first time, not the second time, not the third, but he drew a foul.
That's what you do when you're in deep like that, Tom. You just have to keep going up with the basketball.
Boy, you're absolutely right, because in this case, Kronmeyer is just in among traffic, and it intensified the longer he stayed in the lane. At some point, you have to just hope that somebody cracks you across the bridge of the nose, but he can't make the free throw. Siegel, bad miss on the second. Tie ball game. Benson just able to corral that pass. Gardner looking to go against Siegel. And that was something Calvin did not want to see happen. That's a miss by Stivey. I think that's a shot that Hope probably would like to have back. Here's Drews looking to go on Gardner. Tipped out of bounds. That's going to be Calvin basketball. 5:12 to go in the half. It has been a defensive battle. Both teams have been struggling to find offensive consistency. Here's Cannoni now. Kronmeyer. Welch as an afterthought, and you know what happened there?
He was listening to the crowd counting down the shot
his
clock.
head, Brent.
Yep.
You're absolutely right.
Totally.
There was like 7 seconds remaining on the clock, and they were saying
the crowd
3,
was saying
2,
1. Yep.
And he bought it. Gardner. Nice slap away. That's off Gardner's leg. Out of bounds to Calvin. Kronmeyer gets it done again. So Kronmeyer goes out with Drews. Parks and Daly back in. Sam Otto's going to get back on.
Well, the good news for Calvin, Tom, is they managed to navigate through that little window there of not having their elite scorers on the floor with no damage done. The score has not changed since that rotation was out there, and now they're bringing Daly and their big guns back.
They did not go backwards at all. Which
no, they
is
did not.
A good thing for Calvin at this point. They're down inside 5 minutes remaining. But this is the way Calvin played in the first contest. They were comfortable in the first half, and then Greg Mitchell made some adjustments. Cameron Denny looking to go. That's a travel, says Kevin Quaker. Cameron Denny's not happy about it right now, but I think the mistake players sometimes make there, they think they've been victimized by a bad call instead of acknowledging what they've just done so that they don't do it again. This is a move to the basket. Oh, looked like a clean block, some part of, but it's going to be a foul that goes against Michael Welch. We might see this one on the replay. I suspect on the second glance we'll see that there was some contact. 30 on 30. And a lot of ball, but some flesh as well, as Sam Otto puts it down. He's got 4 now in the contest. And a 2-point lead for Hope at 25-23. Cannoni had Welsh. I want to get Jordan Daly a touch here right now and see if he can get something going. This is Denny. Too much dribbling for the big man. Lost it. Hope on the move with Hawkins. Hawkins held up by Parks a little bit. And here comes Jordan Daly on the move. Cannoni turned down a shot. And Parks stepped on the sideline. And that gets us to a timeout with 3:41 to go here in the first half. It's Hope by 2 today on WGBU.
So I've been a worship leader here on campus. Those of us leading are just trying to bring the rest of the congregation with us into the presence of God. It doesn't matter who we are in a sense, like we're all together as one praising God, and I don't know, it's a really cool communal thing. You know, I have a very real sense of I know this is what I was made to do, and I can glorify Him with this, and He loves it, and He loves me.
At Gentex Corporation, we are currently hiring new team members and offer a wide range of benefits, including quarterly profit sharing, tuition reimbursement, and in-company promotions. Learn more at gentex.com. Gentex, a smarter vision.
Support by Freedom Village, a retirement community located in Holland, Michigan. Freedom Village is all about location. We are less than 3 blocks from historical downtown Holland and Hope College. Our city under roof offers an all-inclusive lifestyle for active seniors. We have an indoor swimming pool, hot tub, and gymnasium. We offer chef-prepared menus in our 5 dining rooms, a general store, full-service bank, and beauty salon. Our Life Care contract offers you long-term protection for all levels of care under one roof.
Been a pretty hotly contested contest so far. We haven't seen the offense that we're sometime accustomed to seeing, Brent Ashcroft, but there have been some good plays.
There has been, and there's Gardner right there getting inside. Nice spin move, obviously, and Hope's been needing him to get going in this basketball game. 4 points to this point is all he has. And Calvin defensively, we talked about this early, Tom. They need to have one of their best games of the season against this Hope squad defensively if they want to have any shot in this game. And so far, they're answering the bell in that regard.
Parks jumping out on Carlson now. That ball hit Hawkins in the back and went to Blackledge. Blackledge, that looked like a walk to me. Instead, it's going to be a lob up to Brock Benson. How'd you see that last play, Brent?
Yeah, he definitely took an extra step. He got away with one there, but Benson was smart just to keep the play going.
Parks now. Denny. I think you got to deliver the ball to Daly right now because he's one of the guys on the bounce. And that's a foul from behind on Sam Otto, who was chasing the whole way on that play. I think the one thing that Daly gives you that Calvin doesn't really have a lot of is that he's a guy who can keep the dribble going in the half-court game even when he's being pressured. He can even back in and get himself some opportunities that other guys really aren't terribly adept at doing.
Well, he also gets to the right spots on the floor. I think it would have been nice to score there, but I think he knew that based on where he was at least going to get to the free throw line there.
Daly gets 1 out of 2. 3-point ball game now with under 3 minutes to go here in the first half. Tom Cleary along with Brent Ashcroft with you today, and Ryan Terpstra, who will be joining us shortly here at halftime for this contest. Game number 193 in the series. Hope wins today. It's their 100th victory over Calvin. Blackledge. Carlson going to try it. He finds it. Carlson with the 3. First bucket of the ball game for Chad Carlson.
Got the ball at the right time, squared up, eyed it in.
I think what that shows you is Calvin has to be very concerned about that inside game. This is Cannoni for 3 at the other end. So 2 teams that aren't making much suddenly exchange threes. Carlson again, Benson. Blackledge, Otto. A great recovery by Daly. Otto, ugly looking shot there. That was tipped out of bounds to Calvin, they say. Otto, I think, felt he was going to get fouled there and really shot that as an afterthought. Calvin can tie with a triple this time down as we get right down to the 2-minute mark. Parks. Cannoni, second three attempt is up and down.
Nobody on him, Tom.
Well, like the young man just decided, it's time to become confident and get into the fray. Benson with Denny. Michael Welch trying to hold off against Blackledge. Boy, Kelvin played that actually pretty well, but you cannot reach on a shooter right at the end, especially when he's under the basket. And Harrison Blackledge, willing to get his nose bloodied a little bit, gets rewarded with a couple of free throws. There's Cannoni again. And a handshake from his running mate. So the young man from Ohio, the junior, been a regular pretty much since day one for Hope. Harrison Blackledge. 5 points now in the contest. Edson gets in for his third tour of duty. Otto goes out along with Benson. And who else checked in there? I'm looking across the way, and I think that is Keith Brushweiler, who came on board for his first stint in this contest. He's got played pretty well in Holland. 2 for Blackledge, and now Stivey comes in for Blackledge. And indeed, it is Brushweiler who's out there right now.
You know, we talked earlier, Tom, about who was going to help take some of the pressure off of Daly, so it was not all on his shoulders here today. And so far, Cameron Denny and Tony Cannoni are certainly two guys that have done just that.
Daly a little bit out of control this time. Carlson leads the charge. They tried to spot Edson. Wasn't going to happen. That has got to be a turnover, I think, against Edson. He got his hand underneath the ball trying to scoop it, and then he dribbled it again, and it kind of a weird looking play and kind of hard to decipher. Hawkins 4-3. Dante Hawkins gives his side a 5-point lead as we go into the final minute here. Hope on top against the Calvin team is just hoping to keep alive. Parks now is going to send it from the lane. Shot that over the top of Carlson. I think actually Parks, who's been injured this year, might have a few more opportunities, and Hope's going to take a timeout. They may try to go quickly here and get 2 for 1 in the final minute. Blackledge is going to come right back into the ball game after this 30. I think Greg Mitchell's got the board there. If Calvin doesn't play real tough defense, Hope will take the quick shot here in hopes of getting the ball back for the final possession here. Then we take a look into the huddle. Kevin Vandestreek's talking to his guys, and here's a three that we saw once before. Cannoni hit 2 from virtually the same spot. Hope returns with Carlson, Benson, Edson, Blackledge, and Dante Hawkins. I think they're going to run a play here and try to take a quick shot.
Like you said, get that 2 for 1.
You got to go in a hurry, though, if it's going to happen. It hasn't happened in a hurry. Hawkins outside. Now Hope can just play for the best shot possible, and that wasn't it, but Benson took it away from Welch. Welch just wasn't, so instead they get 2 for none.
Yeah, exactly. Now they get to play for the last shot.
35-30, Hope on top here. Pocket 10, Hawkins on Cannoni. Left hands it up and in. 7 for Hawkins. Parks over the top at the buzzer. It may come down someday. There we go. And that takes us to halftime. It's a good first half for the visitors. The Flying Dutch lead it against Calvin 37-30. And we will be going down momentarily to Ryan Terpstra on the floor. We can check in right now with Coach Greg Mitchell. Terp, go ahead.
Thanks very much, Tom. Coach, not exactly a display of offensive fireworks, but that means you probably are pretty pleased with your defense so far.
Absolutely. I think we're playing very, very hard defensively. We know we got to keep them off the glass, but I love our defensive intensity right now. We got to spread them out a little bit more and execute, share the ball, but that was a really good last 4 minutes for us in a game like this. I like how we finished the half.
You talk about your offense. It seems like you're getting contributions across the board from your guys.
That's who we are. I mean, honestly, these guys believe in each other. They believe in sharing the ball. We know we've got to work inside out, but a couple guys hit shots from the perimeter, which is critical for us. So, we just got to get off to a good start in the second half and see where we take this.
Well, good luck in the second half, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Tom, we'll head back to you.
All right. Thank you, Ryan Terpstra and Greg Mitchell, whose team is on top right now, 37-30 here. After 20 minutes of action in the men's game here today at Calvin, we're going to take a quick timeout and come back and talk about the first half statistical story. We'll do that right after this.
Anyone who knows me knows that I'm a worrier. When I was a freshman in high school, I was already like, where am I going to go to college? What am I going to do? I started playing the violin when I was in 6th grade, but my interests were in science, so I wasn't sure if I could do both. I took some Spanish courses here when I was in high school, and I love the professors, I love the atmosphere, and when I was touring for other schools, like I just kept thinking of Hope, so I just chose Hope. It seemed like the logical choice.
Maria came to Hope College like many students do, eager to learn, eager to explore.
Do I pursue biology? Do I pursue computer science? Do I go to grad school, med school? Do I just go to work?
She immediately sort of gave you an impression of this is somebody who really was excited about being at Hope College and about being in college, and really interested in doing something. So she was part of a learning group program that we have where we have students come in and sort of do science right off the bat. So their first day in college, they come into lab and they just kind of get right into a research project.
Doing a student-faculty collaborative research program really allowed her to see those powerful connections between fields of science. One of the things we really encourage them to do is take advantage of opportunities outside the classroom.
I had the opportunity to be a part of the Howard Hughes Medical Institute XROT program.
It gives students opportunities to go into sort of high-powered labs around the country.
We got to work in one of the labs and interact with scientists. We got to do some of the techniques and use some of the equipment they use every day to make these outstanding discoveries. I've been part of different midterms through the biology department. I got to go to the Galapagos in Ecuador 2 summers ago, and then I got to go to Tanzania last summer.
She went with a group of students with a faculty member, and they were embedded for a number of weeks.
We got to see animals, interact with people from the community.
This gives them real-world experience in another culture.
Part of the liberal arts experience at Hope really provides students with the opportunity to explore things around and outside of their area of focus. I decided to keep going with violin even though I wasn't a music major. I don't feel like I have to give up part of myself to pursue something else. Everything comes together, and that's something that I really value.
One of the beautiful things about setting one's learning inside a faith tradition is that gives students and faculty the freedom to ask questions about how does faith impact one's calling, one's vocation, one's future.
I recently received an offer from a company in San Francisco.
She came not knowing quite what she wanted to study.
And so what Hope has provided is sort of many opportunities for gaining different types of experiences.
These experiences that we hope all of our students have are preparing them for a very bright future.
I'm really excited to see my software skills be used to help solve problems that people encounter every day. I'm really excited to see where it takes me.
Today's game is underwritten in part by Holland Hospital Sports Medicine, your home team advantage. Lawrence and Vanderswart, it's good to have a plan. Makatawa Bank, we make decisions here because your business is here. Padnos, paper, plastics, metal, and more. West Coast Eye Care. See like you're in the front row.
Here at halftime, Hope's on top of Calvin, 37-30. Tom Cleary along with Brent Ashcroft and Ryan Terpstra. Brent, we take a look at the stats in the first half, and you really can't see much to choose from between these two teams until you get all the way down to the turnover chart.
Right.
And you see the total, 5 turnovers for Hope, but 10 for Calvin. And that's really the difference in the contest. Hope has 3 additional goals in the game, even though both these teams are shooting 40%.
Yeah, you look at the rest of the stats. Rebounding, like you said, pretty much even. Calvin with 19. They have a little bit of an edge there over Hope with 17. Shooting percentage, both teams right around 40%. 13 of 32 for Hope in the game. Obviously, most of those baskets coming in the latter portion of the first half for Hope. 10 of 25 for Calvin. Credit Hope's defense. We were talking at halftime and, in the break, and they really clamped down on Calvin when they were bringing it up the floor. Calvin could not get any half-court sets going whatsoever. Hope's defense really, really played well, and they were able to turn some of those turnovers into some points at the other end, and that is the difference in the scoreboard right now.
Well, certainly Calvin got a little bit of breathing room toward the end of the half when Cannoni hit those 2 threes. They're looking for another scoring outlet, and when you take a look at the scoring, it's pretty balanced for Calvin right now. Daly with 8, 7 for Denny, and then down to Cannoni. And Brock Benson with 9 had a good first half. Blackledge got off to a good start, and Dante Hawkins also chipping in well with 7.
Yeah, Cameron Denny obviously was getting into the act for Calvin early on there. Not afraid to take it to the hole. He's going to have to be a guy that remains aggressive for Calvin here in the second half. And points in the paint is another statistic that we need to talk about where there's a little bit of a difference, Tom. Hope has 14 points in the paint, Calvin with just 10. And obviously Brock Benson is a big reason why.
Yeah, Blackledge too getting inside there, and Hope certainly offensively getting more of what they want. We'll take another quick timeout. We'll come back with more from halftime here at Calvin after this.
Do you want to explore new worlds? Become a WGVU Explorer and join me, Michael Walenta, WGVU General Manager, on a trip to the magnificent cities of Central and Eastern Europe. This exciting 14-day tour departs Grand Rapids on September 18, 2016. View the full itinerary online at wgvu.org/explorers. For more information and to reserve your spot, call WGVU at 800-442-2771 or email explorers@wgvu.org.
With 4 seconds left in this contest, down by 3.
Fellas, that's a great effort to get back where we are. Well, looks like we got 4 seconds. We got to have a 3. It can't be a 2. We're down 3. And here's what we're going to do. Judge, you're going to make this and we'll win the game in overtime.
Have you ever heard a story that changed the way you saw the world?
I had witnessed the terrifying joy of unbearable responsibility.
We fight for identity, sometimes we kill for identity, but why is that?
I can't let my life be this, because if I give up right now, that's what my life will be.
I'm Guy Raz. Join me each week for inspiring stories on the TED Radio Hour from NPR.
Saturdays at noon on WGVU Public Radio, 88.5 Grand Rapids, 95.3 Muskegon.
Well, if you're a Calvin fan, you're still hoping for an upset here in the second meeting of the season between these two teams. And one of the things that might give you a little bit of hope was the play of the Calvin women's team today, which ended the undefeated season of Hope, winning 88-77 in the opener. Hope had come in winners of 24 straight. And one of the heroes for Calvin, I think their leading scorer in that ball game, was Anna Timmer, the daughter of the former Calvin player and current athletic director Jim Timmer. So John Ross and company, congratulations to you for that one. Let's take a look at some of the highlights, Brent, from the first half. And offensively, it was like Ryan Terpstra said a couple of moments ago with Greg Mitchell, not a lot to write home about, but here's one of the highlights. That was the outside shot made by Blackledge early on, and then Carlson knocked down a long bomb. This is a nice play really by Edson, who got Benson to move his man almost all the way off the court. Then the lob inside. Carlson, we talked about knocking down a ball from distance. Calvin gets this follow by Jordan Daly inside off the miss. Dante Hawkins had a triple, so really doing a little bit more from distance than what we have seen, and the outside shooting helping out for the Dutch here as we get set to go down onto the floor. We're still waiting to return to the court of the Calvin coaching staff, so when we see Kevin Van de Streek and his staff return, we'll get a quick word with the coach, who I think is starting to make his way out. I see him. Ryan Terpstra's got him corralled right now, and why don't we go down to the floor, give these guys a chance to get situated, and let's send it down right now to Ryan Terpstra.
Well, thank you very much, Tom. I'm here with Kevin Van de Streek. Coach, kind of a grinded out first half. You guys had a nice fast start, but then a lot of physical play. What was the conversation like in the locker room?
Well, I was happy with the effort. I thought physically, we got after it. We just weren't real smart defensively, in all honesty. Sometimes the intensity, you gamble. We blew some coverages. And offensively, we got really disjointed, very individualistic rather than moving, passing, some of those kind of things, which resulted in 10 turnovers. And you can't beat a good team with certainly translated into a game of 20 turnovers.
Anything in particular you'd like to see your guys come out with early on in this game, whether it's more care of the basketball, more energy, something you're looking for from them?
Well, like I said, I think the energy was good, but I think from an offensive standpoint, we have to play together, show a little more patience, okay? We get the ball swung side to side and find the open guy, but typically the game like this, a start is really important. So the first couple of minutes, we need to be ready to go.
All right, good luck this half, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that's Kevin Van de Streek. Tom, we'll take it back to you for the second half.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Coach Van de Streek. And I thought his words were prophetic there. He knows exactly what his team didn't do quite well enough, and care of the basketball is certainly at the top of the list. Another quick timeout, and the start of second half action here today on WGVU.
I think my favorite character in Sesame Street was probably Oscar the Grouch.
One of the gifts you could get for the membership drive was an Oscar the Grouch director's chair. It was Brad's director chair.
My kids have loved the chair, and we didn't want to get rid of it, so we ended up recovering it. It's still in our house. It's still getting used by our kids. Hopefully maybe their kids will have it. I think there definitely is a quality to PBS, and when we're sitting down watching it, my kids are learning something.
My youngest daughter, Kylie, watched the PBS shows, and her teacher said she knows how to read. She can read any book I have in this classroom. And I said, Kylie, how did you learn to read? And she looked at me and she said, Sesame Street, Mom.
I think there's some importance in passing down that legacy of PBS, that it would be something that would just continue on for my kids and their kids and generations after that.
By recycling paper, plastics, metals, and more, Padness is making the world we live in a better one. Padness, recycling the world over and over.
Well, let's see if Calvin can find a spark. They need to get a little bit more offense, because 60 points is probably not going to win this game for Calvin. So where do they go, Brent?
Well, I think Kevin Van de Streek said it perfectly. I think his team needs to get more patient in the half court and stop jacking up shots early in the shot clock, and work some offense. See if you can get Daly open, maybe get Denny off a screen, and really try to make sure that every possession you have counts. 10 turnovers is a lot, and like he said, there's no way that if Calvin turns it over 10 more times in the second half, they're not going to win this basketball game. They have got to clean that up. And if we haven't mentioned this yet today, if they win this basketball game, it's an outright MIAA championship.
Well, the thing about it here for Calvin in the second half is they do have available. Wilkes now. He was out for most of the first half because of 2 fouls. When he came back in, he wasn't really effective, but he can just let caution be thrown to the wind as we get Hawkins on the bounce here to start. Edson guarded by Cannoni. Parks and Carlson. Benson a long way out. They don't want to chase him that far out, and this ball goes through the hands of Blackledge, out of bounds to Calvin. Final senior game for Jordan Daly and Austin Parks, so they want to do what they can to help their team. This is Parks on the ball right now to Daly. Daly went right past Ben Gardner and drives and scores. That was just the way you would like to have it happen.
Got the ball on the floor, nice angle to the basket. Daly was hoping for the and one there, but continued on and up.
Carlson. That's a good seal off by Blackledge. Really nice work by Blackledge inside. Harrison's got 8 in the game now. Denny trying to go hard. Cannoni back from Parks, got his man up in the air, drives, and went right through Blackledge. That's a part of the game that so many young players don't seem to have, Brent. That ability, he's wide open, and Blackledge is setting up for the charge. If he just stops and takes a short jumper off the glass, he's not going to get the foul call like that. They're trying to wipe up some moisture down there. But Cannoni just didn't recognize that. I think he felt it was going to be a macho battle there, him against Blackledge, and he wanted to get the biggest running start he could. But Blackledge played him right that time and drew the charge. There's Wilkes against Blackledge. That's a push off. Oh, and Blackledge knew it right away. Kevin Quaker called it. That arm drifted out and
elbow to the chest.
Yep.
Will be called every time.
Only way that happens so is if Wilkes is moving his feet, and he was. He was at a little bit of a disadvantage, but fought back through it. There's Parks, Denny. That is a crazy long 3, and it's Gardner chasing out. Gardner wants to spot up if he can. Benson against Cannoni, flipped it from behind, did Cannoni, but Hawkins is wide open for a little lefty layup. Good teamwork there by Hope. Gardner didn't overplay his hand at the start of that possession, and then Benson made a nice look. Here's Daly now. Denny. It's going to be a Benson foul away from the basket. Common foul. Two fouls this half on Hope, just 1 against Calvin. Parks to trigger. Daly somehow reached back for that one. Denny. And now Cannoni way short on the triple try, and again nobody home. No offensive rebounds to speak of in this contest really, Brent, for Calvin.
Well, so far they really haven't heeded Kevin Vandestreek's halftime advice. A lot of unauthorized jump shots going up here.
Well, that's a great play there by Daly. He's got to be the backside defender. Denny on Benson. Nice.
That was good transition basketball right there, Tom. They got the outlet ahead. Denny had the angle and went up.
I think that's the first breakout really in the game.
It is the first
Calvin
breakout.
has had. So Hope has done exceedingly well in that element of the game. Here's Blackledge now. Cannoni just doesn't have to buy the fake on Gardner. Gardner's not going to shoot over you. He will be clever. Hawkins for 3. Cannoni strong on the board. Benson putting his hand in the cookie jar. He's got to be careful with that. His coach would not be pleased. Parks for 3. He's going to be shy on this ball. Tipped out, controlled by Blackledge. Greg Mitchell doesn't yell the play to Gardner. He tells him the play. He stopped right in front of him and then indicated to the other players. Hawkins cut off by Wilkes. Blackledge, that's smart basketball there. Carlson, though, way short on his try. Parks all the way down, drives and missed the layup. Oh, bad miss there. I think he was surprised a little bit by the pass. And Just took his eye off the prize when Kelvin really needed one. Here's a common foul that'll stop the action. Might be Wilkes. Can't get in just yet, fellas. Foul goes against Wilkes. That's his third foul now.
Boy, that was a nice lead feed, thread the needle, bounce feed ahead, and
Parks is the last guy for Calvin that you'd expect to miss one of those. Good fundamental player, but he's had some problems with a leg injury in the second half of the season and has not really been the kind of scorer that he has been at times during his Calvin career. Mostly a pass-first point guard, but a very big scorer in his earlier days. And that ball is behind Carlson from Edson. That brings us to a media timeout. We'll take a break. It's still Hope by 7 here today on WGVU.
Support by Freedom Village, a retirement community located in Holland, Michigan. Freedom Village is all about location. We are less than 3 blocks from historical downtown Holland and Hope College. Our city under roof offers an all-inclusive lifestyle for active seniors. We have an indoor swimming pool, hot tub, and gymnasium. We offer chef-prepared menus in our 5 dining rooms, a general store, full-service bank, and beauty salon. Our life care contract offers you long-term protection for all levels of care under one roof.
By recycling paper, plastics, metals, and more, Padness is making the world we live in a better one. Padness, recycling the world over and over.
Support for WGVU Public Media is provided by Macatawa Bank. We make decisions here because your business is here. More information is available at macatawabank.com.
Now Kelvin trying to collect itself. Here is the play made by Daly and then the breakout. And they got it ahead. And this is Denny going against Benson, who gave ground and avoided a foul in that situation. So Parks across the timeline now against Hawkins. With Carlson switched off on the shooter, Nate Drews. That's a reach-in foul. Not a good foul there by. There's just no reason for it for Stivey to go over the top on a guy who's 20 feet away from the basket with his back turned.
Yeah, there's no way Denny was going to turn and shoot the basketball from there. So Stivey would love to have that one back for sure.
Siegel's back on. He's got the basketball right now against Edson. And what do we have? It's going to be a foul against Jordan Daly, pushing off against Gardner. And those two guys are talking a little bit. Actually an illegal screen. And whatever it was, it's been said and forgotten. Parks goes out. And Cannoni is back on. A little taller lineup now for Calvin. Hawkins. Boy, great pick and roll and a finish by Stivey. Super pass by Hawkins.
Yeah, got it to him right on the right angle, and Stivey knew to go up and under there for the reverse off glass.
Calvin down 9 right now. Drews can shoot from there. You wouldn't think so, but he can. Here's Daly against Gardner, scores it.
You get Daly in that deep, it's going to be very difficult to stop him, and Gardner was smart there, not fouling him.
7-point game again. Kelvin hanging on by its fingertips right at the moment. Hope is really looking comfortable at the offensive end, but now it's Daly picking off that ball from Edson, intended for Gardner. Nice pick and roll there. Denny to Siegel and one.
Well, there's your patience, Tom. Right off the steal. Daly brings it up. They didn't rush into a basket there. He actually held the ball, worked a little bit of offense, and got it in deep, and they're able to get an and one out of it here.
And they quickly substitute their two big offensive guns. Denny and Daly go out. Kronmeyer is one of the guys back on. I think Michael Welch is the other. Yeah, a couple of nice trips for Calvin. Siegel does miss the free throw. 5-point ball game. Calvin has not distinguished itself at the stripe here this afternoon. Edson to Gardner. Kronmeyer's played Gardner about as well as anybody. Drews with Edson. Stivey. That is a deep three from Edson. It's going to be taken in the corner by Siegel, just out of our view. And here comes Calvin again. They can get within 2 this trip. And this is a guy, Kronmeyer, who's got some range. This guy has range. Siegel, three-pointer. 7 points for Siegel.
Well, we talked about who the unsung heroes were going to be. Calvin's getting a lot of different guys in the scoring column here today for sure, and they're going to need it.
And Michael Welch trying not to give ground, almost a takeaway, and now a steal, and Calvin controls it. Here comes Cannoni. Siegel, Calvin has to keep its wits about it, and as I say that ball goes flying into the stands. Just out of control play there. You really need to have a cool hand during a rally. And there's Siegel, who made the three-pointer and then unceremoniously sent the ball into the student section.
Well, you hate to give away possessions, and that was about as much of a gift to hope you could possibly ask for there.
But Blackledge just got creamed on the screen by Tony Cannoni. Michael Welch poked Benson in the eye. That's a common foul. You know, I really question, for me, why is he out there chasing at the perimeter on Benson, who's never going to shoot a three-pointer, and he's got you on foot speed. I just think it's an overly aggressive play here. I don't really see the value of that right here. Kind of reaches up and gets Benson.
Yeah, there's not
much value.
Might have
cut him too,
there.
I think. He may have to come out of the game.
He may have thought Benson was going to pass the ball there, and he was trying to get his hand in on the ball to try to create a turnover.
Stivey's coming in for Benson. I think Benson was cut, and the referee told him he had to go out. So here's Hope on the inbounds. Stivey and Gardner. Gardner curls and shoots a three, and that was a little ill-advised in my mind. Quick trigger there by Gardner. It was the play they had run, but Sam Otto ran it down, and they're going to call Siegel now for a foul on Stivey. And again, you're locked up with a guy before he catches the ball, and there's just no real reason for that if you're Calvin. Siegel's going to depart. Wilkes is back in. Kevin Vandestreek, he's shaking his head like we are, Brent.
You know, it's defense to the extreme here today, Tom. Calvin knows they've got to stay tight on Hope players if they want to create turnovers and try to turn them into scores.
There's a fine line between aggressive and foolish.
Yes.
Here's Blackledge right here going. Left hands it up. That's pretty nice work done that time by Mike Welch, who we maligned a moment ago. Held his ground and did well. Cannoni. Parks for three. Can't find it. This is going to be corralled by Otto. I think these other guys, the big players for Calvin, though, got to shoot the ball. They've got to make themselves a threat to open things up inside. Let's see if Welsh can hold off Blackledge. He does. Now just got to keep his feet moving. Blackledge forced a tough shot. Parks the rebound, and Blackledge kind of taking his time getting back up the floor.
He thought he was fouled on that play.
Kronmeyer is out there with Welch trying to get a little screen and roll game going. Calvin doesn't do that nearly as well as Hope. There's a nice lift though to Wilkes. Forced a shot. He lost his balance. Calvin tried to keep it in bounds. I think it's a good no call there. The guy that was on the play looking was Randy Hutton, and Wilkes just got his feet caught up underneath him, and he shot it as an afterthought. Gardner ran into his man, fired. That's a rebound from Kronmeyer, and both teams a little ragged right now. Wilkes looking to go on Otto. Another bad shot by Calvin against pressure, and good defense by the Dutch. Craig Mitchell saying, hey fellas, let's slow it down. Let's do what we can do. Hawkins, Stivey. Sam Otto's got a great look from the top. It's not there. This is going to be a foul against Blackledge, I believe. No, did they say Welch? Oh, they're going to call Welch, who hit the deck. It's immediate timeout with 11 minutes and a second to go in the second half. We'll come back with more after this.
With 4 seconds left in this contest, down by 3.
Fellas, that's a great effort to get back where we are. Now, looks like we got 4 seconds. We got to have a 3. It can't be a 2. We're down 3. And here's what we're going to do. Jed, you're going to make this and we'll win the game in overtime.
Holland Hospital Sports Medicine provides non-surgical and surgical care for team athletes and weekend warriors alike. Their team approach offers comprehensive diagnosis, expert treatment, and personalized rehabilitation for sports-related injuries. For more information, hollandhospital.org/sportsmed.
At Gentex Corporation, we are currently hiring new team members and offer a wide range of benefits, including quarterly profit sharing, tuition reimbursement, and in-company promotions. Learn more at gentex.com. Gentex, a smarter vision.
At Hope, it's about life-changing experiences. Hope. Live it.
All right, 11:01 left to go in the contest. It's 43-41. And Brent, while we have a second here, I want to tell people this is hard for me to believe and even harder to say, but it was 30 years ago when I did my first Calvin Hope basketball games back in the 80s. And since that time, I've been bombarded with suggestions from people that I was either for Calvin or for Hope, and neither is really true.
30 of them, huh?
I've got, I know some young guys that have played in the series, and I know two that are here today. Stephen Wittenbach, the senior from Hope. Known him since he was a young man. His dad, Steve, is a golf buddy of mine and a great friend. Stephen lost his mother this year, and he's had a tough year, but he's continued to play hard for Hope. And, of course, Austin Parks, as we see Benson score. He is the son of Dennis Parks, who was a basketball great at Central Michigan when I was going to college there, and I was Dennis's roommate his last year at Central. So it's nice to have been part of the series and to continue on, and nicer still when you know some of the guys that are playing and they're both first-rate individuals. As we see Denny trying to go inside on Benson, that was bounced off the chest of Michael Wilkes. Randy Hutton is going to change his call here. I don't think they really changed their call. They just changed the signal. They got the call right. They just point the wrong way sometimes.
Well, we should mention Calvin, despite both teams kind of with a little ill-advised play here with some of the shooting, they found their way back into this basketball game. They last led 16-14 at the 10:49 mark of the first half.
I think Calvin found something about itself in that game midweek when they fought back against Adrian when it seemed like they had no chance. Benson inside, that ball goes to Otto, and Otto somehow held on to it. Full marks to him for that. Carlson with the clock running down, spinning, sending, and getting over the top. Good recognition by the young guy, Chad Carlson. He's got 5 in the game. Calvin did 0 wrong that possession, still gave up a score.
I saw Carlson look up at the shot clock the second that ball came to him, so he knew what the situation was and created himself a nice basket there.
Here's Cannoni looking to lean inside. That ball was tipped out of bounds. It'll be Calvin with 9 on the shot clock. Drews is going to come in. Who's going to leave? I think it might be Cannoni. Going to get a break. Drews barely had time to get the jacket off. I thought he was going to jack one up there. Denny looking to go. He's going to go, and he's going to score. He was getting counted down by the Hope crowd.
They were counting him down right.
they aiding and abetting the enemy. Benson way short. A rebound for Drews. So just when it looks like Calvin's going to fall off the face of the earth, they come back and they can get within 2 here.
And make good on the possession.
Denny turns the corner. Yeah! Daly, I should say. I think I said Denny, but it was Daly, obviously.
Split 2 defenders and got the and one.
How does that ball even get through? It's just a jangle of arms, and he actually got in behind Sam Otto. So Daly can make it a 1-point ball game. And I think he's going to come out if he makes it, and he does. Now it's going to be Parks that leaves for Cannoni. So Daly with 15 now.
Daly is coming out.
Daly is coming out. They're going to get a couple defenders in here and rest Parks and Daly for the offensive end. I would guess these guys will probably be out about 3 possessions each. So Hope with it now with Carlson. Double screen situation. That's Blackledge. Nice bounce inside. Stivey got away from the shorter player, Kronmeyer. Hope beautifully taking advantage of the mismatch.
Yeah, that was a beautifully drawn up play right there, Tom. Stivey had just the right curl, perfect feed. Had his defender beat, easy basket.
Stivey now with 4. 3-point ball game. Here's Kronmeyer looking to go on Stivey. He's in all sorts of trouble, and he got bailed out. And I think he got bailed out by Brock Benson, which Greg Mitchell gets a little bit more acid reflux every time he sees his big guy get a foul on a little guy in a non-shooting situation.
Well, you had what amounted to a 50-50 ball there loose on the floor, and Brock just reached in and got more flesh than ball there, and that call's going to happen.
Denny wants to shoot that long ball. Kelvin wants to get his crowd back in here. Kronmeyer needs to make himself a little bit of a threat. He hasn't really pushed the envelope at all at the offensive end. He's got to do that. Cannoni, still a lot of time on the clock. Kelvin goes right down a dead alley. Siegel for 3. And that's going to be a foul on Stivey for wiping out against the Kelvin defender. Now the Kelvin player, I'm not sure who it was, reacted right away. It might have been Drews. He knew what happened. Just whether or not you get the call from the official. Let's take a look as we go to the break. It is Drews in there. And Drews immediately knew. We'll take a break. Coming back with more from Kelvin after this.
At the Community Foundation, we build our community's endowment to ensure that the Holland Zeeland area always has the resources necessary to respond to future needs and opportunities. Join us to make a difference today, tomorrow, and forever.
Support by Freedom Village, a retirement community located in Holland, offering an all-inclusive lifestyle for active seniors with an indoor hot tub, pool, and gymnasium, and chef-prepared menus in 5 dining rooms. 616-820-7480.
So last interim, a couple of friends and I decided to go to Honduras to serve in the hospitals there. I had never had that experience where the need was so great compared to the number of people, and then I was actually doing something. And I think it was in Honduras where I decided that being, a healthcare worker in the community was my vocation. It was where the passion I had for helping people intersected with the need I saw in the world.
Well, Kelvin fans finally starting to get the bit between their teeth a little bit here, and they're either trying to fire up the crowd here or model some of the spring break clothing lines that will be in evidence down in Fort Lauderdale here in a couple of weeks.
Hey, their team's back in the basketball game, Tom. They're pretty excited. They haven't been behind by much. I think 7's been the high watermark here for Hope in terms of a lead in this game, but Kelvin's been hanging around, and
of course everybody in college gets a spring break unless you're a football player at Michigan, in which case you go to work. Here's Kronmeyer. Not good there. Another missed opportunity for Calvin, which has not been good from the line today. They have missed a fair amount of opportunities. Here's Edson back on against Drews. Benson against Denny. Denny played him perfectly right there. Don't try to block the shot. Just keep your feet moving. And here comes Kronmeyer. Out there with Cannoni, Siegel, Denny, and Drews. Siegel thought about it. That's not the shot they were looking for. This is a nice curl by Siegel inside. Couldn't get it down. Benson collects. Sam Otto on the run.
You mentioned it, Tom. We're at the 7 minutes left to go here in the game, and for Calvin, it is missed opportunities. They've had plenty.
This is Carlson alone for 3, and that's just bad luck if you're a Calvin fan. That ball came out to Blackledge, but credit Hope for doing great work on the offensive glass. They do not concede rebounds anywhere. This side. Kronmeyer against Edson. Edson got a hand up at his face. He wants to give it to a guard. Plenty of time on the clock, and this is smart clock management now by Hope. They got a fresh 30. They're going to use it. Carlson looking to go. Nearly had it down, the little guy. Calvin starts out with Cannoni. They've got Daly at the table. I'm thinking Parks is maybe down there with him. I can't see. Wilkes is going to come in the game. Wonder if Kevin Vanderstreek might call a timeout to get his lineup. Well, he won't have to now. It's just at the moment Daly and Wilkes coming back in. Cannoni stays out there with Kronmeyer. And now they're going to try to get Parks before they inbound the ball. Tim Van Dyke made that substitution. Well, a 3 here could tie it, and Calvin, you're kind of shaking your head, Brent. It doesn't look like they're getting anything that they want at the offensive end, and yet they have somehow hung around.
And like you said, they are not having a good day at the free throw line. They're getting there, and they're not making their free throws.
That was just not a good pass made that time. Gardner looking to go on Kronmeyer. Kronmeyer kept giving ground. I think Denny is the guy that was culpable at the other end. Made a kind of a soft bounce pass all the way out to the middle of the court, and you got 2 parties there, though. Kronmeyer's got to come to the ball. And this will be Gardner shooting 2. So Calvin had a chance to tie it with a 3. Instead, now they look like they might be going down 4 or 5. Gardner's had kind of a quiet scoring day today as Cannoni gets up. And this will be Kronmeyer coming out. So Calvin's got the top guys rested for the final 6. But they trail by 5. This is Denny all the way down. Can't buy it, but he drew the foul. Is it Benson? If so, it's 4. And it is against Benson. This is a moment of concern for Greg Mitchell, who knows now he's going to have to get him out of there. Come back with Otto, perhaps. Maybe Brushweiler, who hasn't played very much today.
And they're bringing Stivey in.
Well, they didn't get Stivey to the table quickly enough.
No, they didn't. Another missed free throw.
Here's Edson with a chance for redemption here in his final game at Calvin. Benson, Denny played him well. Carlson for 3. And a quick timeout taken by Mitchell. Well, the reason that ball became available for Carlson is because Calvin is fighting so hard with their perimeter people, Brent, to give some help against the superior scoring ability inside of Benson and Blackledge. And that time I think it was Parks that was caught off the ball. They skipped it all the way across. Carlson stepped up and made it. 7-point ball game with 5:34 remaining, and let's take a look at how it develops. Benson. No, actually it wasn't Parks. Parks is out on the man in front, I believe.
Well, Calvin defenders were standing there in the paint, I think, expecting Benson to shoot the basketball. They were preparing to get an offensive, or preparing to get a defensive rebound there, and instead Benson finds the open man, and Carlson knocks down the 3. Yeah. Critical possession there.
He had some guys defensively that stopped moving their feet for Calvin on that possession, and Great work by Hope to find Carlson, and outstanding work by Carlson to step up in a tight situation and knock it down.
Lead back to 7 here for Hope.
Denny's trying to go on Blackledge. Gotta be careful when Denny's dribbling the ball right there, because he invites a lot of people to come in. And what do we have here? It's Edson who grabbed Daly. Oh, Greg Mitchell doesn't like that. We put Daly at the line. Kevin Quaker came over to talk to the people at the table. I'm not sure if there was a question about the previous foul or was it about that one. Well, it was pretty obvious that one was on Edson. I think it had to be something that happened a little bit earlier. And Daly continues his fine effort in his final game at Calvin. Final regular season game, I should caution. It's not yet been determined whether or not Calvin will have a chance to go to the MIAA tournament. 2 for Jordan. He's got 17. Calvin needs a win here today, and they need some help on the road from Albion against Trine. Here's Carlson. Gardner against Canoni. Stivey. I think you're going to see Hope try to take time off the clock here. Denny against Blackledge. Blackledge with just too much going on. He's in the lane a little long. Slipped. Kept possession. Stivey. No. Tipped. No. Tipped out to Blackledge, and they call him for a travel. They actually missed the first travel, Brent.
They did.
I thought the second one was a little cleaner. Once he got away with that one, I thought he was in the clear. Let's see if this ball comes back out to Blackledge, if we can see it. I thought he traveled for sure the first time. Well, we're gone back quite a ways here, so we're not going to be able to catch it as we go back to the action. Calvin can get within 2 if they can make a 3 this trip. Jordan Daly's where you got to have the ball, no doubt about that. And that's why.
Yeah, you're right, Tom. You need to get the ball in his hands every possession down the floor, even if, you know, you're just going to draw defenders.
I think Alex said, no, it's a great back feed to Stivey. Beautiful, beautiful basketball. And Edson has made some very nice deliveries today. Stivey with a half dozen. 4 minutes left in this game. Calvin down 5. Parks looking to go on Carlson. Got to get the ball into the hands of a dribbler, though. Denny, that is not what you want there. They came back to Daly, though. Daly thought it should have been a continuation, but I think the whistle was a little bit after the foul.
Yeah, it was.
And I think Kevin Quaker is quite right. And we'll get some free throws when we come back. 3:47. It is a media timeout, so before the free throws, we'll take a break and return with more from Calvin after this.
Cunningham Dahlman PC, attorneys at law, proud sponsor of Hope vs. Calvin basketball on WGVU TV. Cunningham Dahlman PC, accessible, responsive, effective. More information at holland-law.com.
At Hope, it's mind, body, and spirit. Hope. We live for this.
West Coast Eye Care of Holland is a proud sponsor of WGVU. Dr. Kate Mulder and staff invite you to see like you're in the front row. For more, 616-395-2020.
Hi, I'm Paula Kerger. Friday nights on PBS is a celebration of the arts where the stars come out on America's largest stage. Your home for the arts every Friday night is right here on WGVU.
Well, this has to go as a bit of a break for Calvin right here. It's a poor shot taken from really deep out of the court by Denny, but it's a virtual air ball. And I think I said during the women's game today in college basketball, when somebody shoots an air ball, it almost always seems to end up badly for the defensive team. I don't know why that is.
It's like a lob pass.
Well, they're in position to get the rebound, but they're not in position to grab a ball that's going out of bounds. Jordan Daly was, and he got fouled. And that's Daly now being serenaded by the Hope crowd. I think they're going to stop singing after that free throw. He's got 20 to lead all scorers. It's been a very balanced attack for Hope. Benson 11, 9 for Dawkins, 8 for Blackledge and Carlson. The Daly cannot get the second free throw down. Kelvin's left a few on the table today, Brent.
Yes, they have. And if you look up at that scoreboard, you can see where the 4-point difference is very easily. A lot of missed opportunities. And obviously at the free throw line, making 1 of 2 just isn't going to get it done.
Kelvin's got a pretty good defensive side out there right now. Shot clock at 6. Gardner, though, is a lefty. And he's going to go all the way and score. It's like they forgot he was left-handed. And that might have been as a result of having a couple of substitute players in the lineup. Here's Cannoni. Wilkes, I think, is still scoreless in the ballgame. Has not played a lot. Denny. This is inside. Cannoni. Well, they worked it now for Wilkes. You can't hit the shot, though. Boy, I think with 3 minutes left in the game, you got to take the easy 2 there.
You got to go up with that, Tom. No question about it. Why would you give up position on the basketball court right there? He should have gone up and tried to score the basketball.
If it works, you're a hero, but if it doesn't, man, you're in a big, big hole. There's Benson against Denny. Denny lost it. Blackledge, though, got there to save it to Ben Gardner. Hawkins bumped by Wilkes, who's picked up another foul, and it's been a nightmare for him after being the hero midweek against Adrian.
Well, smart play there by Gardner. He got the basketball here in midcourt, looked at the shot clock, saw there was 5 seconds left, and he got the ball down in deep, and got Hope to the free throw line with a foul.
Siegel's going to come in now along with Parks for Dante Hawkins. A little too much juice on that effort, so the door stays open a crack for the Knights. Siegel in, Kronmeyer out with Wilkes, and it's Parks returning also at the offensive end. Better touch that time for Dawkins. 10 points in the game now. And Calvin, well, it's now or never. Down 7, 2:15 left in the game.
If they can take care of the basketball here, Tom, work up a nice set piece here, see if they can get.
Ooh. Boy, it's a little bit lucky, and really it's not much of an offense if you're just giving it to Denny and clearing out and hoping he can beat a guy off the dribble. He's got some nice ball moves. He's not the quickest guy out there, and he leaned in that time on Harrison Blackledge, and we'll say that we wouldn't have been shocked if that one had gone the other way. But again, a missed toss by Calvin. Parks back out, Kronmeyer back in. Trading offense for defense now. Carlson's going to come back into the contest. Sam Otto goes out, I believe, yeah.
Can't afford the misses, and that's been the story of this basketball game.
Now those two might be the ones that hang him here today. Calvin just not able to get it done at the stripe, and they don't have enough offensive talent this year like they've had in some recent years. No Jordan Brink around to bail you out of a close game. But the missed free throws are going to be a big story in the first half turnovers for Calvin. Calvin is going to make Hope shoot it here. This might be the last possession where this option's available. There's a breakout. Cannoni's ahead of the pack. Can he get there? He will, and he scores. Cannoni with 8 points, 5-point ball game with 90 seconds. Calvin might try to defend one more time, then you got to start fouling. With the three-point shot available, it's still a two-possession game. Motion, says Greg Mitchell. He's confident in his guys. Cannoni nearly tied up Hawkins. 3-second violation. How about that? Well, is that still a rule in basketball?
That's okay. I saw him hanging out in there. I thought it was a three-point violation, and it was. What a critical turnover here for Hope. And boy, that little credit card size slit in the door for Calvin just opened up nicely for the Knights if they can somehow cash this possession in on something.
Well, they would like to get 2, but 3 would really be peachy. Parks is going to pick it up near midcourt. Calvin has to go in a hurry. They got to put it in the hands of Daly, I think. He's their to-the-basket guy. Denny instead going on Blackledge. Denny forced it. Really never had a shot, and then Siegel fouled. I just don't know how you don't get the ball to Jordan Daly in that situation.
Never touched the basketball at all.
Denny never really got any kind of traction on that move to the basket. Never really cleared a path. So now it's going to be Quentin Stivey. This is one of the bonus here. It's only the 9th foul against Calvin, so there's a sliver of good news here, but if Stivey makes the free throw, it doesn't matter. This kid's an interesting player, really. You look at him and you don't really think that he's sort of a go-to guy, but man, he's a heck of a weapon to have on the bench. He can do so many different things. He can shoot from out court too.
Yeah, he can do it all. Good low post guy. He's a cutter. And he can step back and hit threes too all day long.
Kind of an octopus too. He's got those long arms. Calvin's going to start thinking about a 3. What they got to do is get a good shot here. Parks over the top. Triple go.
Had to have that one.
Kronmeyer back in. Michael Welch back in. It's 61-57. Calvin's going to have to foul immediately. Well, that's 2 games this week where Parks hit a triple in the final minute. The problem that he's had has been a leg injury that kind of keeps him from being explosive. We saw him make a bucket in the first half, Brent, where he kind of scooped it on the run with 1 foot because he just can't get the push that he's had. And that's an element that he really brought to the table last year when he was playing with Daly and Brink on the wings. Teams would sag to stop both those guys, and Parks would get a lot of opportunities from beyond the arc. But this year, with only 1 real good perimeter scorer, teams have been able to cover him a little bit better, and he's not 100% healthy, and that's hurt Calvin's cause as well.
You know, Hope defended that well too. Cross-court feed. He had a hand in his face. Still managed to see enough of the rim to knock that down. Huge play for Calvin.
I think Calvin's got a foul right now. They can't wait and let the shot clock go down here. They've got to go get somebody. Well, they try for a knockaway. They nearly get it. What do we have here? Is this a foul or a ball out of bounds on the sideline? Randy Hutton made the call. It's going to be against Cannoni, I think he says. So it's Harrison Blackledge, who's a good free thrower. The kind of guy I'd want to have up there if I was Greg Mitchell. Collected himself, trying to get his breathing right. Perfectly executed. 9 points for Blackledge. Parks back in. Even if he makes this, though, it's still just a 2-possession game. So Calvin could get a 3 and then maybe fight its way back in. And it's looking more and more like victory number 100 for Hope. It ain't over yet, though. Let's see what Siegel is able to do with the basketball. Denny thought about going deep. Kind of a crazy pass. Denny thinking about shooting a 3. He's got to go to the basket. Goes hard. That's a foul by Stivey with 14 seconds. The problem is Calvin took way too long to make that happen. You've got to shoot the 3 immediately if it's available. If not, go right to the hole and keep the war of attrition going.
And the ball didn't get to Daly again.
That's his 5 fouls on number 5, Cody Stivey. So Benson will come back in. I think it's academic, really. But if he makes 2 and somebody slips on the court on a wet spot, you never know. Calvin has really given it a battle here, even though they knew pretty much going in that things weren't likely to end up going their way as far as the conference tournament. They've given it a great battle. Denny's got the first free throw. Got him for 13 now with Kronmeyer back in with Welch. And this has got to be an immediate fouling situation, I would believe, for Calvin if you don't steal the inbounds pass. Calvin takes a quick 30 here. What's kind of interesting right now, and I think this is a good move by Kevin, because you put your defensive team in to steal the ball, but if you do steal it and you have all your shooters on the bench, it's not going to help you out. So what he does, he brings Drews, who's maybe his best outside shooter, back into the game, hoping that if his team gets it, he might be the guy that can pull the trigger at the end.
And like you said, there has to be an immediate foul here. Once the inbound goes in, Calvin is going to have to swarm the basketball and get a foul there.
Well, Calvin really, I think they've given a good accounting of themselves here in this very tough situation, knowing they're probably not going to make the tournament, knowing it's been really one of the worst Calvin seasons in recent history. First time they didn't make the tournament, if they don't make it. But they played hard. They stayed in it all the way to the end. Cannoni right away fouls Gardner, and that's not who you want to foul, but you do have to foul whoever you can get at that point.
Yeah, very uncharacteristic, Tom. You know, the MIAA tournament has been going on since, what, 1990-91. I mean, it's been a long time that tournament evolved, and Calvin has been in it every single year. And traditionally, it's always been Hope and Calvin playing in the championship game. They always get that third meeting of the season in that championship, and it's just very odd to see a struggle here by a Calvin basketball team where their season could end here in 13.4 seconds.
That's the 30 taken by Greg Mitchell. And I'm wondering here, he figures he's going to have a 5-point lead. It's 4 right now, but you can't foul. You don't want to stop the clock. He's just going to get people in there. And he's looking at it, though, and he's thinking about who do we foul if we foul. But why would you foul the double bonus? That gives the team to score untimed points. And the only thing that Hope really needs right now is for the clock to start. Up 4, 2-possession game. Could be up 5, and you figure they probably will be with Gardner at the line.
Well, in Calvin's possession, you got to believe they're going to get the ball into Jordan Daly's hand here going up the court, and you know, they need a 3. I mean, they need to get a 3 up and down quick, and then a foul, and you know how it goes. It's not entirely over yet, but
I think the job has been done. Pretty good job here by Randy Hutton, Greg Van Dyken, and Kevin Poyker, and our second of 2 games this year on WGVU. Good refereeing crew. Hard games to referee. There's so much emotion. These games in the paint are just, sometimes you have to avert your eyes when you see what these young guys are doing to each other. Well, it is physical.
It's been that way for decades in this matchup, and usually it's traditionally 2 teams that have 2 good inside guys and some good gunners.
So Gardner doesn't get it down. Calvin's got to go in a hurry. Where are they going to go for a shot? Cannoni's going to go all the way to the basket. They need 2 baskets, and that's 1. And a quick timeout. Hello. Nice job, Calvin. And a great job, I think, by Cannoni in realizing you got to get a 2 and you got to get a 3. You might as well get the 2 right now.
Well, here comes a quick foul again. No question. Daly was not on the floor there, but he just came back into the game.
That seems unusual, doesn't it? That he wouldn't have been in.
He was not in.
Next offensive possession. Well, I mean, you say quick foul, but you know what could happen here, Brent? There could be a turnover. Somebody might cough it up. Somebody might anticipate a cut that doesn't happen, and you know, we've seen wilder stuff than this. The ball could end up in Calvin's hands here in the final seconds, and Calvin has got a bunch of guys right now saying, boy, just let me be the guy. I think if you're Calvin, what you got to do is get yourself to a point beyond the arc. If your team somehow comes up with it, you got to have that kind of recognition. Who will be the guys out there for Calvin? Drews is probably Cannoni. Daly is out. Kronmeyer and Welch. I wonder if Hope might throw it down the floor here in this situation with 6 seconds remaining.
Get it deep.
Well, let's see here. Hawkins is the trigger man. Uh-oh. There was an element of panic there, and Hope had to take a timeout. I will say this, though, better a timeout than a turnover. So Hawkins did the right thing, but the thing that surprises me, Brent, why was he glued to the floor there? He had the whole baseline to run after the score by Calvin. And I think Greg Mitchell's telling him right now, hey, remember, but you know, I know kids know that rule, but it's amazing how many games you see in a tight situation where the inbounder just freezes and gets locked to that one spot. He makes himself a lot easier to defend.
And I'm sure Kevin Quaker told him he could run the floor.
Yeah.
I mean, the referee always does that.
Yep.
Lets him know.
Well, I think if you're Calvin right now, you just have to take some kind of a crazy chance, even if it results in a foul. You got to do something that is extraordinary. I think Hawkins doesn't want to run to his right because he's a lefty. You'll probably see him go right and then come back left here. He looks right, a little bit right, back to the left. Oh, there we go. And inbounds it comes to Blackledge. It's another truism, I think, of basketball is that at this level, you get left-handers who are so used to beating people to the left their whole life, they don't become as proficient going to their right as you do see some right-handed basketball players who can go left the other way. Lefties just, you don't see that many great ones going to their right. Blackledge now, he's got to make both of them to nail it down. Oh. They all count the same. Harrison Blackledge gets to double figures. Parks is back in. He makes this one, though. It's all over but the digging.
Yep. This is the one. He misses here. Calvin has a chance with a 3 to tie.
Pretty calm-looking fella, Harrison Blackledge. I think he feels the monkey's off his back now after he made that first one. And there's number 2. Calvin's got to throw the bomb somewhere if they can. Cannoni's got to just shoot the ball up in the air. And it won't go at the buzzer, and Hope has the victory. So it's victory number 100 here for Hope in the series. In game number 193, the Calvin seniors are going to walk off the floor after giving it a game shot, but they come up a little bit shy. Tough one for Jordan Daly and for Austin Parks, who are playing for the last time. But what you see at this level, Brent, is a recognition by these young guys that this is not going to be their life. It's not going to be their livelihood. And they tend to get these things into perspective pretty darn quickly. And I think that's the case for the Calvin seniors here today. Congratulations all around. Both teams, a lot of these guys know each other. They played against each other in high school on the playground, and I don't think there's any hard feelings out there today for these two sides. Ryan Terpstra is down on the floor somewhere, and I'm looking to see who he might be able to collect from Hope if he can get somebody grabbed onto it. It is Greg Mitchell who goes down with him, so why don't we throw it down to the winning coach in today's game, Greg Mitchell, with our own Ryan Terpstra.
That's right, Tom. I am with Greg Mitchell, and you talk wins, 100 wins in the rivalry. What does it mean to be a part of something like this?
Well, I think the best part is you achieve a goal. You know, you set out at the beginning of the season and set your goals, and to achieve one is awesome. You know, we have so much respect for their players. We knew they'd give us their best effort, and it's such a well-coached team. We're thrilled to get the W, that's for sure. It wasn't going to be easy. We knew we'd see their best effort, so I'm very, very happy for these guys, man.
It's the end of your regular season. How does this set the tone for you moving forward in your postseason?
Well, it sets a tone because, you know, I think we're in a position where we feel pretty good about where we are. It wasn't the cleanest game, but I thought we still played the way we've been playing the last month, which is defensively we really tried to impose our will, and I thought Calvin played well, but I thought defensively we played very, very well. Maybe not as sharp offensively, but if you can rely on your defense, it still gives you a pretty good chance to be where you need to be.
Well, Coach, I'm going to talk to one of your seniors, but congratulations on the win today.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We move from Coach Mitchell over to Brock Benson, one of the leading scorers for Hope today. And Brock, you think about moments in your college career, finishing with a regular season win at Calvin has got to be a good one for you as a senior.
Yeah, it's a great moment for us. Getting it back from last year, we had a tough one here, and we knew what we had to do, and we came in, and it was a dogfight, and we were able to pull it out at the end.
You guys have a target on your backs due to the season that you've had. How do you take this victory forward?
It's another step forward. We've been working every day in practice and games and just getting better, and so one step forward, and winning a tough game is always good.
Well, congratulations on the win today. Great play.
Thank you very much.
All right, Tom, we'll wrap it up. Throwing it back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Ryan Terpstra, for your efforts here today and helping us out with our broadcast. Great job done on both our telecasts. Benson had 11 for his team. Harrison Blackledge also 11. Hawkins 10. We're going to talk a little bit more about this one and get a final word from Brent Ashcroft when we come back after this.
Support for WGVU Public Media is provided by Macatawa Bank. We make decisions here because your business is here. More information is available at macatawabank.com.
By recycling paper, plastics, metals, and more, Padness is making the world we live in a better one. Padness, recycling the world over and over.
The career and vocation I have in mind is a combination of biology, public health, international development, and medicine. Calvin lets you do an interdisciplinary major, so I combined public health, international development studies, and biochem. I could not just focus on one thing. I'd like to do all.
I'm Jennifer Moss. West Michigan host for NPR's Morning Edition, heard on WGVU FM. Through all you have to do on a weekday morning, we'll bring you all you need to know. FM 88.5 Grand Rapids and 95.3 Muskegon.
So it is Hope College winning it today against Calvin. 65-61 is our final in this one. And we talked about the scores for Hope. Jordan Daly with a great effort in his final game. Finished with 20 points. Cam Denny at 14. Cannoni 10. And, you know, I look at the sheet here, Brent, there's really not much to go by. Calvin handled the ball, only 5 turnovers in the second half. Kevin Vandestreek talked about that. Calvin really gave it a great try, but free throws a problem. Calvin missed 10 free throws in the game, just a little bit over 50%. And had they been able to knock those down, some of those are the front end of one-on-ones and might have made a difference in the contest.
No, there's no question about that, Tom. And, you know, Calvin managed to get to the line several times in this basketball game, and you got to be able to make those free throws. Tom Izzo would not have been pleased with this free throw performance today by Calvin, no question about that. But, you know, it was a grind game. It was a game that both teams really seemed to focus very much on defense. You didn't see much transition basketball whatsoever. Calvin had a couple of breakouts that they scored on, but they also had a couple where they missed. And you could go back and say maybe those were points that were left on the floor by Calvin in this basketball game. So, yeah, if you're the Knights, it's you know, it's unfortunate you're not going to the postseason tournament for the first time in school history. Your season ends here today. If you're Hope, you're hosting the postseason tournament next week. Targets on your back, but you've got the wind in your sail, and you're the #1 seed, and it looks like you're well on your way here.
Well, we talked about Austin Parks and Jordan Daly playing for the final time in a Hope Calvin game. A whole crew of players for Hope doing the same when you think about it, because there's going to be no next matchup in this series this year. And you talk about guys that have been around for a while like Edson and Gardner and also Brock Benson. So a new group of heroes emerging on both sides, and we'll see them next year when we get back here for the series once again in games number 194 and 195. Let's recap it here. Calvin won the women's game 88-77 to end Hope's unbeaten run at 24. But in the men's game, it's Hope winning by the final score of 65-61. So for Ryan Terpstra and Brent Ashcroft and our entire broadcast crew at WGVU TV, I'm Tom Cleary. Thanks for being with us. Again, it's the Flying Dutch winning the championship of the MIAA and moving on to the tournament. They defeat Calvin today by 4. Our final score, 65-61.
Today's game is underwritten by the Community Foundation of the Holland Zeeland area, creating lasting positive change in our community. Cunningham Dolman PC, accessible, responsive, effective. Eastern Floral, a West Michigan tradition for over 60 years. Freedom Village, an elegant retirement lifestyle. Gentex Corporation, a smarter vision. Holland Hospital Sports Medicine, your home team advantage. Lawrence and Vanderswart, it's good to have a plan. Macatawa Bank, we make decisions here because your business is here. Padnos, paper, plastics, metal, and more. West Coast Eye Care, see like you're in the front row.